You can focus on your video games. Why can't you focus on your homework? I don't understand why you can spend 3.5 hours reading about mushrooms, but you can't bother to clean up your room. Get out of here, Mom. Hey, it's October, which means it's ADHD Awareness Month, which means that all month long I'm busting the most common myths and misconceptions surrounding ADHD. And oh boy, if you grew up with ADHD, undiagnosed or not, I bet you heard a lot of stuff that sounded like that. Really common misconception around ADHD is that we cannot pay attention. We can. The problem is less about our ability to pay attention and more of an ability about where to focus that attention. Not only are our brains constantly scouring the environment for like new and interesting things that are happening, but that can also happen internally as well. Like somebody does a fun character voice and all of a sudden you're like writing an SNL sketch in your head and you like are not paying attention. But there's also a phenomenon related to ADHD called hyperfocus. If you've never experienced the phenomenon of hyperfocus, it can be really difficult to describe to someone who doesn't experience it, but it's sort of a combination between like really intense focus and a creative flow state. However, and I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but a lot of people who talk about ADHD on the internet like to treat hyperfocus like a superpower. Just harness the power of your hyperfocus and you'll make $1 billion. But hyperfocus can be really difficult to navigate through, especially if you don't know a lot about it or how to support yourself during periods of hyperfocus. We can forget to eat or sleep or maintain basic hygiene. It can be extremely difficult to switch between tasks. Some people can even get like really emotionally dysregulated and like enraged if you interrupt them. Now, I'm not saying just because somebody is in a state of hyperfocus, they're allowed to be mean to you. That's a them problem, not a you problem, but that's a different video for a different day. But a lot of people with ADHD are really curious, we're really passionate, we're really excited about different things. And so people like to treat interest as one size fits all, right? You are interested in video games. You can focus on playing video games for a really long time because those video games hold your attention. So why can't you just do your math homework? Looking back in the sea of red flags that was my childhood as an undiagnosed neurodivergent person, my mom used to get really frustrated with me because when I would go to the grocery store, I would like clean the shelves. I would like line up all the packages and make sure everything was like all even and nice. And then she would be like, I just don't understand why you can spend all that time at the grocery store doing that and you can't even bother to like pick up your socks when you get home. And I was like, because one of those is interesting and novel and gives me dopamine, mother. And one of those is boring and terrible and requires a bunch of executive functioning and tasks and skills and support that I don't have. But I was like 7, so I didn't know all that. Anyway, ADHD people can absolutely pay attention. It is just much harder when it is not engaging or interesting or otherwise aligned with our interests.